Hi there, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 374. I'm Lisa, also known as fibernymph, and welcome to the corner of my bedroom. Oh, it's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday that feels like a Monday because it was a holiday weekend here in the US. So I hope everybody enjoyed their long weekend if you got one for Labor Day. I mostly worked yesterday, so it wasn't too much of a holiday for me. But that's okay. Yeah, so it's Tuesday. It is September 7th? 6th. What is it? It's the 7th. I wrote it down. How are you doing? Welcome to September. I recorded a week ago on September Eve. And I'm very happy that it's September. It's my favorite month out of the year, probably. It's also my birthday month. I'm sure there's some correlation there. This is really yummy tea. Hang on, I'll tell you. This is tea my son brought me back from Florida. He went to visit my mom and stepdad earlier this summer. That was his vacation. He went down to visit them. And he brought back some tea from the Spice and Tea Exchange in Fernandina Beach, Florida, which is where they live. And the one is Mystic Dragon Tea, which is a blend of Japanese sencha and Chinese dragon well green teas. I don't usually drink green tea, but this is actually very good. It's a refreshing combination that mates for a fragrant and luxurious tea and is great iced, which I have not made it iced. It also has in it cornflower petals, sunflower petals, strawberry, and rhubarb flavorings. But anyway, he brought me that back, well, us. And then he also brought back this mango tea, which is really just chunks of fruit, and it's amazing. It has pineapple cubes, mango cubes. Sorry, the print on this is really small. Pineapple flakes, mango flakes, coconut chips, natural flavoring, orange slices. Mandarin orange pieces, safflower, sea buckthorn. This print is really, really small and I'm having trouble. Freeze-dried red currant, marigold blossoms, freeze-dried strawberry slices, and rose hip. It tastes amazing. So what I've been doing is putting like a scoop of this in my cup and then adding like about a half of a teaspoon of these fruit chunks in it. It tastes so good that way. I need to get on their website. I don't know if they sell online or not, but I need to get more of this. It's so good. I know I could probably concoct it myself. In fact, I know I have dried cranberry or dried mango in the cupboard, but I don't know. Anyway, it's really good. So that's what I'm drinking today. What else? Oh, just a heads up. I will talk about this later in the shop news segment of the podcast, but I did want to let you know that there will be a shop update this Friday, which is the 10th of September at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a fall colorways update, and I'm really excited about it, and I'll be showing you things from that a little bit later. The Downseller Studio Pigskin Party also kicks off this weekend, which I think Jen is doing something specifically for her Patreon people on Thursday night, but then Friday and Saturday there are Zooms scheduled all day. So I will link in the description box below where you can find the schedule for the kickoff weekend, because I'm pretty sure I have that link somewhere. I think Jen has it up by now. Anyway, that's happening. My Zoom that I'll be hosting will be the first one on Saturday at 10 a.m. At least I think it's the first one. Jen's setting up and using the same Zoom link all weekend long, so you can just stay in the Zoom room the whole time if you want to, and just watch one after another if you have that kind of time to do that. That would be fun. I'm just hopeful that my internet doesn't crap out on me for that hour. So anyway, and Steph from Adorn It is also going to be popping into my Zoom, and we're going to talk about the Pigskin Party collaboration that we did, the bags and the yarn and everything. So I think I showed you all that last time. And if you shopped that update last week on Wednesday, whenever I put those collections up, as well as the Pigskin Party yarn that I'm doing, thank you so much. The kits sold out in under 15 minutes. So they're gone. And I know on Steph's website, her bags all sold out completely by now, and she's just doing pre-orders for them. In fact, I had to pre-order one myself because I didn't keep any of the ones from the sets. I sold all the sets that I had, so I will be waiting for my bag. Yeah, anyway, thank you so much. And again, my yarn is in the shop too. If you just want the skein of yarn, you can get that. And that's also a dye to order, so it'll ship in 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, that's all of the heads uppy stuff. Let's move into 90% and what I've been working on. So I have a half finished object to show you this week, and it is, speak of the devil, my first No Place Like Home sock, which is my pigskin party colorway this year. And I have talked about this in the last few weeks about what the pigskin party is. It's a season-long knit-along that covers the whole NFL season. And it's hosted by Jen from Down Cellar Studio. She's Boston Jen 1 on Instagram, and I think she's Boston Jen on Ravelry. Anyway, again, I'll put all those links in the show notes below, so you can check that out if you want to. I finally just actually registered to be a part of it. It's free to take part in, but I finally remembered. It's like, oh yeah, I have to officially sign up to be a participant. But I am a Pro Shop sponsor, and this is my colorway that I am dyeing up for this year's pigskin party. So it's just my plain vanilla sock pattern, my plain recipe that I use. I don't know how many, I probably did about 9 or 10 rows of ribbing, 2x1 rib at the top. This is a 60 stitch sock on US 1s, plain old heel flap and gusset, and just a regular wedge toe. So here it is. And oh, dropped it. I just noticed today as I put it on this sock blocker, there's this like wee hole right there, and I'm not sure what that's from, because that's not from where I picked up stitches for the gusset. It kind of almost looks like I did something weird there. I don't know. I have to check that out. I don't think it's a dropped stitch, but we'll see. Anyway, so this is the first sock. I'm going to hold off casting on the second sock so that I can count the second sock for pigskin party points. Your projects have to be a minimum of 100 grams, so I'm probably going to do a whole bunch of second socks from things that I have started already and put those together as one project for the pigskin party. So that will be the second one of these. So I haven't cast it on yet because I'm waiting. I don't know what it is about a week or so before an event like that starts, when the projects have to be cast on within the event period. I always all of a sudden want to cast on all the things, and it's like, no, you must wait. If you want them to count, they have to wait. So anyway, that's my first thing that I have worked on. The other thing that I've worked on a little bit, I haven't had a lot of time to work on it, but it's the Mammillaria hat, which I did show you back before we went on our main vacation. And I didn't take this with me because it wasn't something that was in a point that I could have worked on. But this is the Mammillaria hat. The pattern is by Sarah Jordan, and I am using my fibernymph dye works Mountain Tweed. That was on Bounce, sorry. The sock that I just showed you, that was on my Bounce base. This is my Mountain Tweed BFL base, and it's the River Rocks colorway, which was a new colorway a few weeks ago. And so this has a turned up brim, so you knit several rows and that rounds, and then you do a turning round, and then you knit again that same amount, and then you, as you go around at the end of that, you are picking up the stitch, the corresponding stitch from the cast on edge, and that closes that up. So this is double. The brim is now a double piece of fabric that you can see there. I don't think I've ever done a hat this way. I've done sweater, bottom bands, lower bands on a sweater. I've done that way, but I don't think I've ever done a hat this way. So it'll be interesting to see how it fits. Anyway, this is now, I'm into the section where you start to do the bubble stitch, which you can't really see it too well because I've only done it once here. But as I progress, you'll be able to see that bubble motif. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me see if I have a decent picture that I can show you what it looks like. Okay, here it is. This is from the pattern. So do you see those little bubbles? It's a really fun stitch to do. This is the first project I've ever done using it. I have a few patterns. I think they're Stephen West patterns because he does a lot of bubble stitching things. I have them in my queue. Maybe I've even bought the patterns. I don't know. But this is the first one I'm trying it on. So it was a little fiddly when I first started, but after I got through the whole round, I kind of had gotten to a rhythm. So I'm optimistic that it will go well. But that's all the further I've gotten. I think I was partway through picking up the cast on edge maybe when you saw it last, or maybe I wasn't even that far, but obviously I haven't made that much progress. But I thought I would show you that I at least got that far. So again, that's the Mammillaria hat by Sarah Jordan, Fibernymph Dye Works, Mountain Tweed BFL in my River Rocks colorway, which I have not had a chance to dye any more of that, but I will be putting some more in the shop eventually. So if you're still looking for it, I think there might be, I don't know if there's any in the shop right now or not. I didn't look, sorry. Okay, what else? Oh, I have a new cast on. And this is actually related to the shop update that's happening this Friday because it's a sample for the new colorway that's going in, and I'm really excited about it. But here, I'll show you the sock first, and then I will talk about the colorway. So here it is. You can definitely tell that we've got fall colors going on here. It's going to be one of my short-ish socks, and this is on my Traveler base. So this is my sport weight base. So I'm doing this one on US 1.5s over 54 stitches. And then whenever I get to the heel flap, since it's an odd number, I just slip one from the instep side over to the heel side, and so the instep has one less stitch, which isn't a big deal. So anyway, this is how far I've gotten. Now, what I often do on self-striping socks, whenever I've done this type of a heel, once I get through the heel flap and the heel turn, I will break the yarn to get back to the color that I left off on, which was this orange, so that I can keep the progression. However, this is a pie colorway, and so the stripes are not in any particular, I mean, the color order is the same throughout, unless there is a 0 in the pie sequence, then that color gets skipped. But otherwise, the colors go in the 5 colors go in the same order, but they're not the same size because they're going, I always have such a hard time explaining this. If you're not familiar with my Pi Day colorways, the stripe sequence goes in the same order as the numeric sequence of the number pi. So the first stripe is equal to the 3 in pi. The second stripe is narrower because it's the 1, and then there's a 4, and then there's a 1, and then there's a 5, and then there's, I should know, I think this is a 9, I don't remember. Anyway, so that's why they're all different sizes. So because the stripes vary so much anyway, I did not bother to wind off to get back to the next color, which it would have been the gold. There's a wee gold stripe in there, so I should have had gold, but the gold and the green got skipped, so it just went right back to brown, and I'm not worried about it. I think it'll be fine, but you can see those colors on the heel flap. I would try to put this in the sock blocker. I don't know how well that'll work. Well, I'm still on my heel decreases, my gusset decreases. I'll try. We'll see how it goes. There we go. That's not bad. So there you go. You can see all the colors that way. This is the colorway name is called Autumn Palette Pie. Now, oftentimes, most times, my Pi Day colorways, the stripes correspond to a specific item in the colorway's theme. So like my pumpkin pie colorway that I did last fall, all 5 stripes corresponded to a specific type of pumpkin. Or my Halloween pie, Hallow Pie colorway, you know, those stripes all correspond to something spooky and Halloweenish. But this is not one of them. The other one that I did that didn't like the stripes didn't correspond to anything specific was my shepherd's pie. All of the colors were just colors that you find naturally in different sheep breeds, but they weren't corresponding to any specific sheep breeds. So this is sort of similar to that. All of these colors are colors that you find in the autumn palette of nature. And they are all, they're not semi-solid stripes. They're either gently tonal or variegated. So the one that's most variegated is this one. It's a brown and deep purple kind of variegation, because that is a color that you do find out in nature in the fall. The green, you can also see the variegation pretty well. It's tonal, not variegated, but all of them, you can see it here in the orange too. The orange, the red, and the gold, you can kind of see, well, yeah, on the heel you can see it pretty well. So they're not semi-solid stripes. These are either tonal or variegated stripes in this colorway, which my Hallow Pie colorway is the same way. They have variegated stripes, and they're always a lot of fun to do. So this will be in the shop this coming Friday. Again, Autumn Palette Pie. And I'm going to have as much of it in stock as I can put in stock and get dyed up. I'm not finished dyeing for the update yet this week. I will probably be finishing my dyeing, let's see, tomorrow's Thursday, so I will be finishing it. Everything that is going to be in the shop this week will be dyed. It will not all be reskeined by the time I have it in the shop, though, so shipping will be slightly delayed, but it should all ship within a week of the time that you order. That's my goal here. A week, I would say a week to 10 days. It all depends on drying time and when I get it reskeined. But my goal is to ship it within a week to 10 days. And I will have all that information in the listings, but I just wanted to let you know that there have just been various and sundry delays, not the least of which I've done something to my neck, which is greatly curtailing how long I can work with yarn, and especially winding striping patterns and reskeining. It's just sort of painful. So doing the best I can, but I will have this in stock, but I will also probably put dye to order listings up for it as well. We'll see. You can be looking for that. But if this sells out, I will put dye to order listings up for the bases that sell out. Okay, so those are the 3 projects that I have worked on that I can show you. I actually do have a couple other projects that are samples of things that I cannot show you, and I won't be able to show you probably for a couple more months at least. So I'm not really going to talk about them. I don't want to tease you. I just want to let you know that I am actually working on other things, which is taking a big chunk of my crafting time. But unfortunately, I cannot show them to you right now. So there's that. But I did do one other crafty thing. It's just not knitting or crochet. And it's funny, I have not crocheted all this past week. That's weird. I need to get back to that Granny Stripes cardi. I really want that. Now that the weather's starting to change, I'm starting to think, oh, I want to work on sweaters. And then I realize I have that Granny Stripes cardi that needs to be finished. I have that, the red sweater. Why can I never remember the name of the red sweater that I started last year and then got stuck on the sleeves? Why can't I remember it? I'll put it down here. I feel like I've talked about it a couple of times recently, and every time I can't remember the name of it. It's probably a purposeful mental block because I know it needs to be finished. Whatever. And I just haven't had the momentum to do it. Anyway, I really would like to knit some new sweaters using hand spun, because I had that realization the other day too. Like, it's been probably close to 1.5 years now that I've done much spinning at all. I spun over the holidays last year because I was spinning fiber from my holiday mini set. I don't know if I'll get to do that this year or not, but as I've said before, my spinning place in the house used to be out in the porch room, which is where I kept my wheels. But since Bill has taken that room over for the last 1.5 years since he's been working from home, and he's not going to be going back to the office until at least the end of February now. They keep pushing it back. I'm really thinking he's never going to end up going back before he retires next summer. Whatever. The point is, that was my spinning area. I don't have that area now. My secondary spinning area was on the couch in the yarn room, which was fine, except then when Emma moved home and she moved into that room, I can't really spin in there either. I don't have anywhere to leave my wheel, so I'd be carting my wheel back and forth all the time. And right now my wheels are kind of in locations that are not easily accessible. So I thought, okay, I can't spin right now. I mean, I could be drop spindling, but I don't enjoy drop spindling as much as I do on a wheel. But I could be knitting with my handspun because I've got a lot of handspun. And I've got some sweater quantities of handspun. So I think that might be a thing. Maybe I will start a new sweater for the pigskin party. Maybe. We'll see. That's a thought. I really want to finish the 2 that I have. Do I only have 2? I feel like I might have another one somewhere that I haven't thought about. I don't know. Anyway. That was sort of a digression. The other thing that I have worked on that I was starting to show you is my button project. So if you remember, I did this a while ago, probably last month, I guess I worked on this or finished this. So I'm just sewing random buttons onto fabric in a hoop because I think it'll be cute when it's done. So this was the first one I did. This was on my light colored button. Well, not all of them. I have more, but I used all light colored buttons on this one. And the fabric is just a muslin, a natural colored muslin. So it was light on light. And I really enjoyed doing this. It's not finished, but the buttons part of it is finished. So then I wanted to do the dark ones. So I have started that. So I've got black fabric in the hoop and I'm using all of my collection of dark buttons. Now, looking at it on the camera, I can really see the difference in the colors. Like I can't see that as well in person for some reason. You can always see things better on the camera. I'm having some trouble with this one. It's not going nearly as fast as my first one went. And I think part of the reason is because I'm working with dark buttons on dark fabric with dark thread. And that's really hard on the eyes. So unless I'm like in really bright light, it's hard to work on. And I'm usually working on it in the morning in here where there's not great light. But the other thing is I don't have nearly as many dark buttons in my dark button collection, and they really vary in color, as you can see. There's very few that are actually a black. Like that's a black one. I think that's a black one. But the rest are either like black with gray or different shades of gray, or like this one looks almost brown to me in this light, but in the light that I was working on in the morning, it looked more like a grayish color. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way the light hits it. So this one is a different interpretation of dark, which I'm not quite enjoying as much. I wish they were all much darker, but they're not. But it's what I have. And the other thing is I don't have as much of a variety of button sizes in these dark colors. And that's bothering me. A lot of my darker buttons are larger. Like in the light one, see, I had a lot that were like this size, and I don't have dark ones that size. That's probably about the smallest I have. Those 2 would be the smallest ones. Well, that one's kind of small too. But most of them I would say are right around this size, and then several of them are this size, which is why there's so many of those bigger ones on there already. So I'm just not as happy with how this one's turning out. I think I'll like it when it's done, but it's just not quite turning out the same way the first one did. But it'll be fine. Anyway, I said this one's not finished, and aside from the fact that I obviously have not finished by trimming, that and finishing the back or anything, if you remember when I talked about this one to begin with, I thought, I have these spots that I would have liked to have been able to fit more buttons into, but I didn't have any that tiny. And so I had mentioned that, well, maybe I'll just like stitch like French knots in there to fill in those bigger gaps. And then someone, I believe it was Polly from Instagram, who watches the podcast. Hi, Polly. He recommended, why don't I use beads? And I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. So I'm thinking about that. I need to go through my bead collection and find light colored beads that would go with this. And I think I will do little tiny bead clusters in there. That could be really cool. And then it would have that shine too that the buttons have. And I'll probably end up doing that same kind of thing on here. So the button project is coming along. My second one is coming. I think my third one that I'm going to do with all different colored buttons, I am going to make larger than this because I am apparently a glutton for punishment. But I have so many colored buttons that I just think it would be so much fun to make a bigger one. I don't know how big. Like these are 4-inch hoops. It may just go up to like a 6-inch hoop. I don't know that I want to go up to like an 8-inch hoop. I don't know. That might be extreme. We'll see. I have to find. I have 6-inch hoops somewhere in this house. I have them. I don't know where they are. It's driving me bananas. Anyway, so that is the extent of my crafting in a week, which actually, considering how busy I've been with a whole lot of dyeing and other stuff around the house, that's not bad. I feel okay with how much crafting I've done. I always feel bad if I don't have a lot to show you or enough. I feel like I don't know who quantifies that as enough though. Like, I don't know. It's a podcaster thing. I know a lot of podcasters mention that, like, you need to have things to show people. So I think that's everything. Is that all the crafty stuff? That's all the crafty stuff. So we're going to jump now into the nature make-alongs, which are going on still, year-long thing. 4 different make-alongs, and we're in the third one right now with the theme of sea, S-E-A, all things natural water related. Seas, oceans, lakes, ponds, streams, rivers, puddles, whatever. As long as you can make your projects somehow fit in with that theme, you're good to go. You can be as creative as you want. I give you permission. Anyway, I sort of misspoke in the last episode though, because I said, oh, well, by the next time I record, August will be over, so I can pull an August winner. But then I realized today, oh, I hadn't been doing that for the first 2 segments of the knit along. I was just pulling the winners, a chatter winner and a finished object winner, after the 2-month period. However, since I already said that I was going to do that, I decided to honor that, and I did pull a winner random number generator from the August chatter. So you're getting a bonus prize, and the prize that I am offering you, I only pulled 1 prize. I know I usually pull 2 so the person has a choice, but if this is something that you really, really, really hate and you will never ever use, winner, feel free to let me know and I will find you something else. But this is what I'm offering. It's a mini set on my cozy base, so these are worsted weight minis, and this is the Bright Sea color collection. So that is the prize. And random number generator. Let's see, where am I here? Posts 1095 through 1181 were all August posts in the chatter thread on Ravelry. There was no chatter in the blog post on the fibernymph Dye Works board, so I did not add that in since there wasn't anything. Random number generator chose post number 1151, who is Sarah, who is PA Knitwit. So congratulations, Sarah. Please let me know that you know you won, and if you can use these, awesome. If you absolutely hate them and want something else, let me know and I will try to find something for you. I want to be accommodating, but I just was trying to get ready to go and I didn't have time to look for a second prize. So, okay, that's the prize, and that's the prize winner. I will do the actual official prize drawings at the end of September, so the first podcast in October will have those. Let's see, new things. Okay, I do have, oh, I wonder where they went. Never mind, they were right here. I only have 1 new acquisition, the word that I was having so much trouble with last time. And these are some progress keepers that I got from Adorn It, staff of Adorn It. I saw these in her shop a while back. I'm like, oh my gosh, those are so cute. And I haven't taken them out of the little baggies yet. But here, let me take one out. They're globes. They're really fancy, decorative globes. So these are progress keepers. So they're on a little lobster claw. But look, isn't it cute? This one's a black one. I believe this one was in like a Halloween-y kind of combo. There was black, and then there was this gold, which of course I saw this and I'm like, Steelers colors. I'm not a huge football fanatic anymore. I used to watch football all the time. So it makes it sort of ironic that I do this pigskin party thing, but you don't have to really be into football to take part in pigskin party. It's just the theme. But yeah, that's what that reminded me of. Definitely black and gold for the Steelers. So I have those that I can use. And then I got 3 other ones. She had 2 in Christmas colors. So there's a red one and a green one. And they all have the same silver findings on them. And then there was this one that's sort of a magenta purpley. Sorry, I did not take them all out of the bags, obviously, but hopefully you could see them all off. And then there's also like a one that has multiple colors, and it's like the magenta and maybe a blue and silver in the globe. It's really pretty. I did not get that one because I had to like stop myself. I may have just well, I did. I told you I placed another order with her to get my pigskin party bag that coordinates with my yarn. That's so funny. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I keep dropping things. Hang on. We're going to just put these back over here in my bin so that I don't keep dropping them. Okay, so yeah, I'll show you the bag again whenever it comes in. What else? New things. Okay, that's actually my only crafty new thing, I think. I didn't bring anything else over. I don't remember getting anything else. I mean, obviously I got all that yarn last time from my vacation, so I'm probably good for a while. But I do have 2 other new things that I'm really actually excited about, but they're not at all craft related. They're like just geek-tastically related. I mentioned that I got a new laptop recently. My new laptop is wonderful, but it does not have a DVD drive. My old one did have one. And that's fine. I could probably still use my old laptop for the DVD function, which I used it a lot. That is, as long as it decides it's going to turn on. But anyway, the one thing, the DVDs that I invariably watch the most are my Lord of the Rings extended version DVDs, because if you have watched this podcast for any amount of time, you know I am a major Lord of the Rings fan, both the books and the movies, but I love the movies. And this time of year, for whatever reason, maybe it's because that's when Bilbo's birthday party is and this story all starts, because that's in September. Anyway, I always feel the need to watch the movies again. Like, I watch them all year anyway. I don't know how many times a year I watch them. I watch them a lot. But they're comfort viewing for me because I know them so well. I can just have them on in the background no matter what I am doing. And it just feels good. It's like cozy, you know? It's like the mashed potatoes of movie viewing. So anyway, I wanted to watch them the other morning, and I couldn't because my laptop would not let me, and I think Emma was still asleep and my other laptop was in her room and I didn't want to disturb her. So I did what any rational Lord of the Rings fanatic would do, and I went to Amazon and I purchased the digital version of the extended trilogy. So now I own it digitally and I can watch it at any time on any device, and I may have also watched part of it on my phone, which it's not nearly as exciting to watch on your phone because it's such a tiny little screen. But like, I had it on just like while I was working the other day and everything. It's like, I know the lines and I know what's going on and I know the story and it's awesome and I just love hearing it. So I know if you're not into Lord of the Rings, you probably don't get that at all, but it just made me so happy. Is there anything like that for you guys? Like, do you have a movie that you feel so compelled to watch, maybe at least once a year or multiple times, and like a season really kicks that in for you? I mean, aside from like all the like holiday movies or Christmas movies at Christmas time, that makes sense. But is there any movie that isn't really a seasonal movie, but you have a season that you associate with it? I would love to know. Anyway, so that's the one new thing I got, and I have watched the entire trilogy once already since I downloaded, or got the downloads, the digital version. Anyway, the other new thing is also Lord of the Rings related, Middle-earth related. This new book that just came out, I believe, either earlier this week, well, not this week, last week it came out. The Nature of Middle-earth, edited by Carl F. Hostetter. I've heard a lot of buzz about this book, and it's been mostly good. Okay, I have not started reading it yet because it literally just came yesterday. The best way I can describe this, as I understand it, is this is a collection of like all kinds of notes and bits and pieces that didn't go into any of the books per se, but they're all just related stuff that Tolkien wrote and created as he was writing. Like, you might remember, like, The Lord of the Rings The Hobbit came out first. Then The Lord of the Rings came out, like, book-wise. And then he started working on the Silmarillion, which he had actually been working on, but it never became a book until after he died, and his son Christopher ended up putting it all together. And that's when the Silmarillion was published. But the Silmarillion has all of the back history of everything Middle Earth related, like all of the history of creation of Middle Earth and elves and all of the races and all that stuff. Like, that's all those backstories that you get little snippets of throughout the Lord of the Rings. Like, that's where the history is in the Silmarillion. This book picks up all of like extraneous pieces that were never actually spelled out anywhere else, but Tolkien had created in order to create as he was writing the Silmarillion, because there was a lot of stuff that he had to go back and like back create, if that makes sense, so that there would be cohesion between the stories. So I imagine this book to be much like if you went to Tolkien's desk and you sat down at his desk one day and it was all the way he left it, and you just started like reading little notes, like if he had post-it notes or sticky pads or the back of a napkin. Maybe he didn't write on the back of napkins, he wrote on the back of exam papers. But you know, like just all those little notes about history and about things that are related, but they weren't put in any order, and this guy took it all and he put it together. I believe it's also stuff that Christopher had notes on as well that didn't get put into books. So anyway, I can't wait to dig into this. Is not like a read cover to cover kind of book. This is more of a referencey sort of book. I have read or heard that the best thing to do is start at the beginning with like the foreword, and then read about the editorial practices, how it was put together, and then like at least read the opening to each chapter, the introductions, and then you can just go about. But it has like all kinds of stuff in it. Oh my gosh. Like biographic stuff, like the different races, the different lands. It talks about time and aging. It talks about like what races had facial hair and like crazy little stuff. I can't wait to look through this. I'm excited about this book. So anyway, that's my other new thing, and I'm sorry that was a big digression into like total world of geekdom with Lord of the Rings and Tolkien, but it's my happy place. It's my happy place. So, okay. So that's my new things. Let's jump into shop news, shall we? Okay, so thank you again for your enthusiasm over the Pigskin Party collections that I had in the shop last Wednesday. Again, they sold out super fast, so thank you for that. And also, I'm sorry if you had wanted one and you didn't get one, but you can still get the bags and the markers from Steph over at Adorn It. I will link it in the show notes. And the yarn you can get from my shop. Again, it's dye to order, and shipping out within 2 to 3 weeks. I've got a ton of orders coming in for. So again, thank you for that enthusiasm as well. I love dyeing that up for you. Let's see. I also mentioned the Pigskin Party kickoff weekend is this coming weekend, Friday and Saturday. There is something going on Thursday night, but that I think is just for Jen's Patreon people. But I'll put all of that information and link that in the show notes as well. And again, my Zoom is at 10 a.m. on Saturday. That's Eastern time. All the times for the Pigskin Party stuff are Eastern time. So just so you know that. let's see. Oh, my next regular update. That is going to be this Friday, the 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern. And I've got fall colorways for you. So I already showed you the new one, which I also already took it off of the sock blocker. Okay. It's pie colorway. Autumn Palette Pie. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be the start of at least 3 more seasonal pie colorways. I don't know why I've never done those before. I mean, I've done holiday ones, but I've never done them just for seasons. So I think autumn's the first, and I already have a good idea of what I'm going to do for a winter palette pie. So you can be looking for that in a month or two. Anyway, so again, this is Autumn Palette Pie, my regular pie colorway or pie striping deal. And let's see, where is it in the skein? Here it is in the skein. I was really on the ball, and I already have them ball banded. And all of my pie colorways come with a little sheet of paper tucked into them that explain the colors in the colorway, which again, this one, the stripes don't correlate to any specific items. But there's a description, and it also explains that there is a stitch marker attached to the very beginning of the skein that starts with the first digit, like the 3. So you can start your socks at the beginning of the pie sequence if you really care about that. You won't get a repeating, like you won't get a matching set of socks out of one pie skein because pie does not repeat. So if you're okay with that, then you're good with one skein. If you really want matchy-matchy socks though, then you would need to buy 2 skeins. Or I may end up doing up some of the half skein sets. I didn't do that yet, but maybe I will do that in the future. Or maybe I will make that an option, a die-to-order option. I might do that. All right, so that is one of the colorways. The other 5 colorways I have going into the shop are all ones that I have done before. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5. Okay. So, let's see. Where is that one I'm in? Sorry. This one is Mountain House Autumn. This is from my Mountain House collection. Now, see, I do have that as a seasonal. There's Mountain House Autumn, Mountain House Winter, Mountain House Spring, Mountain House Summer. Mountain House Autumn has always been a really popular one, though. Autumn and Winter are the 2 best-selling Mountain House collections, or colorways. So, Mountain House Autumn. And then we have After the Harvest. Now this is a colorway that's pretty old. I did this quite a while ago. Matter of fact, this would have been a good throwback Tuesday. Oh gosh. But it's not. I'm putting it in as a colorway. I did have to redo 1 or 2 of the colors in this one because I don't have the original dyes anymore. So it is slightly different than it was originally. The other thing is I used to do this in a bright version and a muted version. I cannot do the muted version anymore because the color that I used to use to do the muting is not, I don't use that color anymore. It became very inconsistent. It was very frustrating. And the other colors I use to mute some other colorways I do doesn't work well with these colors. They change in not pleasant ways. So I'm only going to have the bright version. Hope you don't mind. But this is After the Harvest, bright. And I will say too, this color here used to be a darker version of this tealy greenish blue. It's turning, that's one of the ones I had to sub. So it is a little bit different in that respect too, but I like it. It goes with it. So it's After the Harvest. Then we have Deep Fall, which was a new colorway last year. Nice dark colors. And then we have Fall Tomatum. Fall Tomatum was a colorway that I did for Needles Up Rhinebeck in 2019. And I don't remember if I've ever actually just put it in the shop. I don't remember if I had it in the shop last year or not. I kind of feel like maybe I didn't. I don't know. I may have. I don't remember. And I didn't look back in my records. So anyway, Fall Tomatum. It hasn't been out very much other than that one time when it was at Rhinebeck, or Needles Up Rhinebeck. So Fall Tomatum. And you will see mock-ups of all of these or samples knit of all of these in the shop listings if you want to see how they stripe up. Anyway, and then the last one is Leaf Pile, which is another one that's been around for a while, but everybody seems to like it, so I like to dye some of it up every year. So we've got Leaf Pile. All of these will be available on multiple bases. including some heavier weight bases. I've heard from people recently who are really saying they really like seeing the self-striping on like the DK and the worsted weights. So each of these will be on one or the other of those, as well as the fingering weights and sport weights. Sport weight, I only have one sport weight that I dye. So you can look for those. I think that's everything that's going in the shop this week, because I'm not going to have time to dye anything else up to put in the shop. And again, I say this every week, my newsletter is the best way to keep up on like new things happening in the shop and when shop updates are happening and everything. I'll probably be sending out one later today about this week's update. So you can subscribe to that by going to my website, which is fibernymphdyworks.com, and at the very top or at the very bottom there is a link, both places, that you can sign up for the newsletter. And I only send out an average of one a week, so you don't get inundated. Sometimes there'll be 2 in 1 week, but then you won't get another one for 3 weeks, so not a lot. All right, let's see. What else? Yeah, that's about it. Other than that, I've just been busy dyeing a lot of stuff for the Winter Magical collections that will be going out at the beginning of November. It's a busy time of year, but it's a good busy, and I'm really enjoying it. And I have so much I'm planning to get done in September. Like, I'm really excited about this month. Okay, that takes us to the end, and I'm going to tell you what's bringing me joy this week. And the shift in the seasons is really, I'm feeling it so well, like literally and figuratively. Just, it feels like fall. Like I said, it was cool. It's been cool in the mornings and cool in the evenings. Haven't had to have the air conditioner on, which is amazing. Great sleeping weather. I haven't taken the air conditioner out of this window yet because I know we could still get hit with some really hot, humid weather, but it's unlikely at this point. So I'll probably give it a couple more weeks and then I can ditch the air conditioner in here. The new moon cycle started yesterday. Do you follow the moon cycles? I do, sometimes more closely than others, but yesterday was the new moon here. Well, I guess everywhere at some point in the day. Anyway, I made my intentions for this new moon cycle, so I'm excited about that. And I would say the other bright spot that I had just recently is just getting to spend time with my kids. Like, you guys probably know, Emma, my daughter, lives here with us. She's been here for the last over a year now. She moved home, and then my middle child, my younger son, lives about an hour away, and I do see him fairly regularly because whenever I go out to the other end of the world where I used to live, which I do a couple times a month, I usually get together with him for dinner. So I get to see him, or he comes up here occasionally. And then my oldest son lives in North Carolina, and I do not get to see him very often, which is sad. And I had hoped to get to see him this summer, but that trip did not get to happen for a number of reasons. So it's probably been about 3, I'm trying to think, oh gosh, 3 or 4 years since I've seen him, which hurts my heart, but it is what it is. Anyway, on Monday, which was yesterday, I got to enjoy like nice time with all 3 of my kids in one way or another. You know, Emma being here, I get to spend time with her a lot, but she was here, you know, after work yesterday, so got to hang out with her. My middle child, my younger son, he came up to the house yesterday because he needed to work on his car, and Bill was going to help him, so he was here a good chunk of the day, and I got to spend time with him. And my older son called yesterday. We text a lot, but I don't talk on the phone with him. We don't talk on the phone a lot for whatever. Neither of us are huge phone talkers. I think that's the biggest thing. But yeah, he called last night, and I got to have a nice long conversation with him and get caught up, and it was just so nice. So that was definitely a bright spot. Like, a day that I get to have good interaction with all 3 of my adult children just always warms my mother's heart. You know what I mean? And I got to talk to my mom too. And I often think about that, you know, how much I value getting to spend that time with my kids or interacting with them. I have to remind myself that my mom probably feels that same way about interacting with me. And so I try to make a point of talking to her regularly. I usually interact with her at least once a day. If not by phone, by text, but it's very rare that more than a day goes by where we don't talk in some way. So anyway, fingers crossed we will see them at the holidays. I told her go ahead and plan on coming up for Christmas. I don't know where we're going to put them. Probably in here, and I don't know where I'm going to put Bill and I. That's more of the problem, because we don't have a spare bedroom right now, so that means we will probably end up sleeping in the basement somewhere, because it's going to be way too cold at that time of year to sleep out in the camper, which is where we usually sleep when they come visit any other time of year. So we'll see, but it'll be good to see them since they weren't up here for Christmas last year. I don't want another Christmas to go by and not see them. So anyway, all right, that's everything. I thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps you see other related videos, and you will know whenever I podcast, because I don't podcast on a super regular schedule, but it's usually about twice a month, 2 or 3 times a month, I would say. So anyway, that's everything. I will be back with you again probably in a couple of weeks, and if you have any comments, please leave them below. I love reading your comments. I try to respond. I have to do that from my computer more readily than from my phone, so it might take me a while, but I do try to respond to your comments. Yeah, that's everything. All of my links and everything are down below in the description box for everything I talked about. And we do have a Ravelry group if you want to check that out, if that's accessible to you. If not, I totally understand. I have my website. There's a blog there. You can always comment on blog posts. I don't post a lot on that blog, but you know, that's always a way to get a hold of me too. Or you can just email me, fibernymph@gmail.com. I'm happy to get in touch with you that way. So anyway, have a good week, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.